All right, so it's been a little while. I gave you guys a bunch of shorts on the P1 update, along the engine build and everything. I'll give you guys a little longer video, show you where I'm at, what's left, and what I'm gonna get into today. So we'll jump right to the engine progress, or the progress on the engine. So it is all put back together. It's giving me a few problems along the way. Well, I won't say all together, but the major stuff is put back on. Like I said, it's missing the water pump. I'm gonna install the harmonic balancer today. And then once that goes on, I can throw the rocker arms on. But for the most part, everything's back in the motor. Rings are gapped for future mild boost. Nothing too crazy. Fram oil pan or oil filter just had laying around, so I threw it on. Seeing how everything takes the same size oil filter. Well, not the bike, but all the cars do. I usually have a couple extras laying around. But we got the head back from the machine shop. Heads by Drew and Aurora. They were able to extract that bolt, no problem. Said it didn't take them that long. It's 40 bucks. Not bad. We got the heads back on. Got all the springs and everything back on. So good there. Like I said, the rocker arms will come next. Intake's just sitting there. So everything's taped up so nothing gets inside. As far as the water pump goes, I'll probably just order the 5th gen Camaro water pump. Those match up to truck spacing, so I'll go with that. If I can find one in black, cool. If not, I might just paint it. As far as the timing cover goes, I'll probably just leave that as it is. And then once the motor's in the car, the engine's in the car, then I'll decide on if I have enough clearance for a low mount alternator, or if I might have to go with like a mid mount or something, because I can't put the truck style there. I believe it blocks the throttle body with the belt routing and everything. But all we'll need is a tensioner on this side, and then the alternator either here or somewhere in this area. So we'll see how much room we have for that. Let's say we have the rocker arms with the tritium upgrades, all that. Most of these boxes are empty. It's going to be the gaskets for the intake. It's going to be the flex plate, Terminator X up there. Empty. We will be using the Corvette regulator. We'll do a returnless style fuel system whenever my fuel lines get here. That is one thing I am waiting on. If you're wondering what cam I went with, red hot cam, the BTR. So decided to go with that just in case. I might do future boost. Strong possibility. But yeah, pretty much this shelf is pretty much cleared off. Don't worry about all these extra bolts. They go to something else. Those are the ones that came off the motor. This I was supposed to drill for the oil pressure sensor. So I was supposed to drill this out, and that's supposed to mount right there. However, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna relocate that to here. I just need to order that. I think it's like 30 bucks, but we'll do that. I know some of them have it coming straight off, and I want the one that's vertical because I'm not sure about clearance. So we'll go with that. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much all this. Just about cleared off. So motor is put back together. Got those powder coated, the champagne color, the original color of the car. So trying to play off that theme, black, white, and champagne. I know this is different, but don't worry about that. So water pump will be coming, alternator bracket, throttle body, and oil pressure sensor relocator. I'll also order the probably the low dollar ones for the oil pressure sensor, and then throw another one on this fuel rail for the fuel pressure and go from there. Also need to get some plastic weld and close that up because we don't need that vacuum port because we're running manual brake setup on it. So that's where I'm at for the motor. Waiting for the torque converter to come in. So I believe I checked the status on that. It says April 18th. So A couple weeks, hopefully. Hopefully it comes in on time, so I'm not gonna worry about getting the motor back in until I could mount the torque converter and throw it all in one piece with the transmission and everything already matched up to the engine. So we'll wait for that. I am waiting for fuel lines, so those I have to check the status on that. They should have been here by now, but we will see. Yeah, I love it. Will I replace the struts? Probably anytime soon. I don't know. But yeah, we did do sound deadening on all, well, about 90% of the floor. So we're good there. It's gonna muffle the sound a little bit. Yeah, waiting on the fuel lines. No, yeah, that's how I wanted it. So put the sending unit here, run the fuel lines. Originally I wanted to do them along the passenger side, but I think the intake on here is on the driver's side, so we'll decide on that when we get there. But you see the interior is mostly back in. I gave this a rough cut. I could have got a little bit closer, but for the most part, we're good. We're good for now. If I want to close this up, make it look like a show car or something, I can. All 4 seats are back in. Sound deadening the whole thing. Center console's not in just yet, or just mocked up into place. So we need to get that mocked up before I get too far. I'll show you what I did back here. Finally got the soft lines in for the rear calipers. So that tab is welded on both sides. I just need to flare the hard lines and we'll get those knocked out. As far as the pedal box, we got all those lines ran, so all the hard lines are ran in there, good to go. Have to remake this line here, this hard line for the driver's side. Front, I think I'll bring it through about right here, because yeah, this soft line needs somewhere to go. So I think I'll probably somewhere around there, and just have it go through there, clip into place, and be good to go. So once that's done, well, then we got the lines for the remote reservoirs. We got those in place. I was looking for a while for these because I reached out to the company once I couldn't find the fittings to fit the master cylinder coming off of there. Reached out to them, and Comp Brake, being a British company, they go by British standards and measurements. So like, yeah, it's 7/16 UNF, and so I was trying to find fittings for that to fit the lines and everything. I couldn't. Finally it clicked. I was like, oh, what's the same thing as 7/16 UNF? It's the same as AN4. So once I ordered AN4 lines, just screwed those on and we're good to go. So that's kind of where we're at. So brake system just about done. Just need to make one line and flare 3 others. So we're good there. Went over the motor stuff, and today I was gonna hop on the bike, go grab breakfast. I was like, well, while I'm out, I might as well drop the yoke and measurements off at the drive shaft shop. So I was like, let me throw the tires back on. That's why those little 275s are back on there. Get the car somewhat at ride height so I could measure for the drive shaft. And I measured for it before, and I had 45 3/8 with the yoke bottomed out. But then I remeasured and with it at ride height. Before it was drooping a little bit, so I remeasured at ride height and at 46 3/8. So the original 45 3/8 I had, my note says bottomed out, so I don't know if I took that inch out already or not. But at 46 and 3/8, usually what they'll do, they'll take an inch out and then they'll make the drive shaft measurement to that side, or that size. So I think that 45 and 3/8 is what the drive shaft will be, U-joint to U-joint. So, so I have the yoke in there. Obviously the transmission's not, but I do have an extra tail housing. And then you just go from the flat surface on that yoke, so where the middle of the U-joint will be, or yeah, you go there to the middle of the yoke here, and that's what I got, 46 and 3/8. So you don't want it bottomed out in the transmission, so you'll back that up probably about an inch, and that'll be your measurement. So that's what I've been up to this morning so far. I said I am going to hop on the bike, enjoy some of this weather. Haven't been out on it in I'd say in about a week. So we'll hop in that, run up to the drive shaft shop, drop the yoke off with the measurements. I think the rear yoke is the 1310, not the 1350. Not like this is going to be making that much power yet, but we'll see. We'll run with that. It should be strong enough, no problem. When I get back, I'll probably start drilling the holes, get this pass through mounted up. Guess it got powder coat. But yeah, we'll get that mounted up, figure out where we want to mount the Terminator X, seeing how all the interior is in. It'll probably just be up in the passenger side wheel well, up under the dash somewhere, no problem, out of the way, easy to get to if I had to, but you don't have to get to those things really. So we'll get that mounted. We have the transmission cooler. So I was going to do an oil cooler and a transmission cooler. I don't think I need the oil cooler just yet, but if I did, it was going to mount somewhere about around here, and that way where the fog light was has that little opening, so it would let some air through it, not a whole bunch, but decent amount of air through it. But I was like, I don't think I need the oil cooler yet. I definitely need a transmission cooler. So I think I went a little bit larger than I measured. So I was gonna put that one on that side, behind the fog light and all that stuff. But I think what I'm gonna do, we'll have enough room to mount it in front of the radiator. So probably be off to the side as much as I can. That way it's not blocking all of the radiator, but it's going to have the pusher fan, so it's going to be pushing cold air, and then the radiator eventually will have a puller fan, so pulling all the hot air out, trying to cool it down. As far as the cooling fan, I'm thinking I'll do a 16-inch with at least 2,500 CFM, if not 3,000. It'll just be a single fan, so I want high CFMs on it. Try to keep this thing as cool as possible. You know, the engine bay is not the largest, but just as many CFMs I get through it, try to keep this thing cool. It's going to help out. So that's where I'm at with this. Little quick rundown. So is it a lot? Yes and no. The motor, once everything comes in for it, I said getting that in and out. I think me and Ravi did it in 15-20 minutes. Obviously, once I start adding fuel lines, transmission lines, and all that, that's going to take a little bit to work around those, but getting the motor in, not a big deal. The fuel lines, transmission lines, those aren't a big deal. I think I actually have the fittings for that, so yeah. So those will go in here, so that's no problem. Obviously, once I get the drive shaft in, that slips in and out. Just have to get the caps for the rear yoke, and it should be good there. Need to adjust this rear a little bit. I think my measurements might have been off, so I think what I'm gonna do, I might have to run a spacer on the passenger side just to try to get it with the same stance, where this one's tucked in a little bit more. It could just be needing some adjustments, but I'll adjust a little bit. But as far as the length goes for the drive shaft, everything will be fine. They're both centered here. It just needs to go side to side a little bit, not forward and back. So we're good there. Just trying to give you guys a quick rundown before. Let's go do something else. But before I wrap it up in the garage and hop on the bike and run up to the drive shaft shop. So I got my measurements. I think that's it. I think that is it. As far as updates on it. Oh, and I would need to order headers for it. So I'm holding off on it for now until the motor and everything's back in. But what I'm thinking, I would love to do long tubes if I can. If I get away with long tubes, if I have the clearance for it, I'll do that. If not, it'd be some shorty block huggers, just for clearance. Because when I had the motor in last time, the steering shaft wasn't in, so that is in now. I'm gonna have to clearance that a little bit more. Eventually I'll get a gasket, go around there, and then to cover up some of the ugly welds, I might do some that like insulation tape, just that whole blanket of it, throw it up there. Try to keep the inside, or keep the feet a little cool, because I know it's gonna be hot. I know it's gonna get hot. The shifter, have the holes drilled out for that, so you just need to get that mounted up. I think there's a few things I have to do with that. Put a bolt or something in there for the shift pattern. I think I'm gonna have to read the instructions on that, but get that bolted in, drill a hole for the cable, and it should be good. So if you're watching this long, I know it's a little bit of rambling, but I'm just trying to go over everything that's left for the P1cruiser. Of course, there's going to be some small stuff that'll nickel and dime me, but overall, I think we're on a good pace. I know my buddy Nico, he's always sending me pictures of his Malibu progress. So I'm trying to stay on pace with him. Like, he'll send an update, I'll send an update. So he's helping me out, especially with questions about this thing. 'Cause like I said, the engine rebuild definitely didn't go as smoothly as I thought. Even though, like I said, I gave myself a couple weeks on it, and it's pretty much what it took was a couple weeks on the rebuild. So I didn't want to rush anything, but I didn't want to draw it out or drag it out too long. So yeah, so let me stop talking. That's your update on the P1cruiser so far. I know it doesn't look like a whole lot of work's been done, but we are constantly out here doing things. So another thing I was going to do is change up the headlight wiring a little bit, because right now it's pretty much hardwired into the bulbs. And so if I wanted to pull this fender off while working on it, or take the headlight out or something, I'd have to get back here and take out all the bulbs individually. I think I'm gonna wire them up to a connector like this. That way, this could probably be somewhere about there, and just unplug it. I'll disconnect all the headlights, plug it back in. Once the fender or anything goes back on, it would be good to go. But yeah, once all the brake lines are flared and everything, I can get some fluid in there, start bleeding those. Still need to attach the parking brake cables, so, or the e-brake. So we'll get that knocked out too. So I know it seems like a lot, but we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. So let me stop talking. I'll cut the camera off, hop on the bike a little bit, and cut you guys back on the next one.